Hello, like and subscribe if you want to. So, the Chicago Cubs are headed into an offseason unlike any other they've had in the past two off seasons. Their president of baseball operations, Theo Epstein, stepped down. General manager Jed Hoyer was promoted to replace him, and they're currently looking for a new general manager from outside the organization. They've been looking at trading away a bunch of their players. Their payroll is at around $150 million in 2021, and Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, and Javier Baez are all free agents in 2022. And Rizzo, Bryant, Schwarber, Baez, Hendricks, and Darvish and Contreras have all been mentioned in trade rumors throughout the past few months and past couple years, actually. Rizzo probably looks like the most unlikely trade candidate just because he's been basically the captain of the Cubs for the past 5-6 years or however long he's been there. And he was a big piece of them winning the World Series in 2016 and just winning the division in 15 or in 16, 17, whichever years they ended up winning. But Bryant, who was the MVP in 2016 and helped them win the World Series, is a free agent also in 2022, like I said, and he's going to be roughly owed $18.6 million through arbitration in 2021, and the Dodgers, Nationals, Braves, and Blue Jays are all likely trade candidates. They're all in need of third baseman. And the return for Bryant probably wouldn't be as strong as it would have been for the past couple of off seasons or past few years. His 2020 season was pretty dismal. He didn't hit that well at all. But the Dodgers, Nationals, Braves, and Blue Jays are all looking at getting a new third baseman. Dodgers could potentially lose Turner or re-sign him. Nationals don't really have a third baseman. Austin Riley, can he hold up playing there? Vlad Guerrero Jr. can't play third base, so Bryant would be good for any of those teams. I feel probably the Nationals are the most likely trade destination just because they're more in need of a third baseman. Dodgers are more linked to Arenado, or I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dodgers re-sign Justin Turner to begin with. But Kyle Schwarber is also a trade piece, owed roughly $8 million in arbitration in 2021. Any team that could use a DH could use Schwarber. Still wondering in the 2021 season if there will be a universal DH. Limits half the teams that could potentially trade for Schwarber if there's no DH in the National League. But if there is any team that could use a DH could use Schwarber. $8 million is not that much for just 1 year, so could be worth it for another team. And then Baez, who's going to be owed roughly $11 million in 2021. Any team looking for a shortstop could use him. Mets, Angels, A's, Dodgers potentially if they want to move Corey Seager to third base. Giants if they're just over Brandon Crawford. Phillies, Yankees if they want to move Gleyber Torres to third or wherever. But I feel like Baez and Rizzo seem like they would probably end up staying with the Cubs. And then Hendricks is owed $14 million from 2021 to 2023, which is not a bad contract, especially for him, who's been a productive pitcher the past few years. Any team that could use youngish, not really too young anymore, but just solid starting pitching at $14 million, which is not a lot for the next 3 years. Any team could use starting pitching. Dodgers, obviously. Yankees, obviously. But I feel that Hendricks will probably end up staying with the Cubs. And then Darvish is a potential trade candidate. Owed $22 million in 2021, $19 million in 2022, and then $18 million in 2023, so his contract goes down for the next 3 seasons, and he has a full no-trade clause. So Darvish looks like he'll probably stay in Chicago for the next few years with a full no-trade clause. His contract gets better, and Cubs could use a horse for the next few years if they do end up deciding to trade Hendricks. And then Contreras, he's a free agent in 2023. He's arbitration eligible through 2022, so Cubs could trade him right now and get more so than if they waited. But I feel that Bryant and Schwarber are most likely out of Chicago, but I feel that everyone else might stay. Maybe Hendricks could be dealt just because he's on a cheaper contract. He's been good the past few years, and teams always need more pitching. What hinders the Cubs is Jason Hayward's under contract until 2024. He's owed roughly $24.5 million per season through then. He has a full no trade clause, and Craig Kimbrel's on the books until 2023, $16 million each year. So that's a lot of money just being paid towards Hayward and Kimbrel. And then their 2021 rotation looks like, if no trades happen, Darvish, Hendricks, Alec Mills, Adbert Alzolay, like they don't have as many starting pitchers as they've had in the past. Lester, Quintana, and Chatwood are all free agents, so the Cubs are going to need some starting pitching. Probably is what they're going to be looking back in return for Bryant, Schwarber, maybe even Hendricks if they can get a couple young starters back for him. And then their lineup looks like it'll be Contreras at catcher, Rizzo at first, Nico Horner at second, Bryant at third, Baez at short, Schwarber in left, Happ in center, Hayward in right. That's if there's no universal DH and if there's no trades, obviously. And then their bullpen looks like it'll be Kimbrel closing, Rowan Wick, Underwood Jr., Norwood, Kyle Ryan Tepera. But this is clear. The Cubs need to make moves this offseason. They need to improve the rotation and bullpen drastically. They only have 3, maybe 4 starters right now. Their bullpen looks pretty weak outside of Kimbrel, but Kimbrel's been a question mark the past few seasons. And their offense needs to not be as stagnant in 2021. In 2020, they ranked 27th in batting average, 18th in OBP, 24th in slugging, 21st in OPS. If they want to win the division, especially in the NL Central, they're going to need more offense from that lineup, and that probably starts with getting rid of Bryant, getting rid of Schwarber, and bringing in some younger guys on cheaper contracts that will be able to make an immediate impact. They also need more pitching, like I said before, but they don't have as much money to spend in free agency, so they're gonna be pretty locked in on their contracts this upcoming season. So we'll just have to see what the Cubs end up doing. But need a new general manager. They need to see what they do post Epstein era, and they need to fix their lineup. They need to fix their rotation. They need to fix their bullpen. They have a lot to work with. They have a lot of players, a lot of trade candidates out there. So it'll be interesting to see what the Cubs do. Thanks for watching.